What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Getting the Hole here. Stephen McAvoy joining you for another big week in the golf world. We've been a little bit on and off, but we're officially back and ready to break down the final week of the FedEx Fall season. We are just around the corner from the very end of what has been a very long 2025 season. Over 48 events have been played, a whole slew of drama, from major winners to LIV Golf news to the LPGA making massive strides in the media realm. Scottie Scheffler doing incredible things as always. Rory getting the Grand Slam title. Plenty of drama to have been discussed, but there's only more to come.
Subscribe to Get in the Hole Pod.
This episode of Get in the Hole is brought to you by Acorn Hills, your go-to golf company that's changing clothing through conservation. With a unique value proposition that blends style with eco-friendly packaging and plantable clothing tags, you get to look good and support our environment. Check out their latest drops, from quarter zips to polos, hats, hoodies, and beyond, as well as their Founders Club, a quarterly mystery box curated with seasonal apparel and premium accessories that you won't find anywhere else. Head to acornhillsco.com and use code GITH15, that's Get in the Hole 15, to get 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Again, that's Get in the Hole 15 to get 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Acorn Hills, look your best from the ground up. As we record here, episode 228 of your favorite podcast, the Get in the Hole podcast, I want to quickly take a moment to give a shout out to our lead sponsors, our friends over at 47 brand. As the winter is in full swing, that means bundle up and get ready for the sweater season with 47 brand. This holiday season, get yourself or your loved ones any of 47's top-notch hats, beanies, shirts, jackets, or pants for any of their favorite teams, their alma mater, or their favorite NASCAR driver. Check out their signature styles and the official merch of the TGL, and use our link in the description to shop everything related to the game that we love and get free shipping on all orders with our partners at 47 brand. Again, free shipping on all orders when you use the link in our bio, and get ready to hit the course, the range, or the clubhouse, or even your casual days in with our friends at 47. Again, huge show to get into, a lot of stuff to chat about, and we need to just jump right on into things. We lead with the PGA Tour Player of the Year discussion. Now, it's been heavily debated over the last few weeks, as officially the end of both these players' main season has come to a close, that being Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Of course, if you watched last week, and we'll talk about it in a hot sec, but Rory McIlroy won his 7th Race to Dubai title, the season-long race on the DP World Tour, officially surpassing Seve Ballesteros. He's only one short of all-time leader Colin Montgomery. And then, of course, there's Scottie Scheffler on the other side, who we have not watched since the Ryder Cup, but had a phenomenal win. Two major titles. The one he won, the Memorial, the Byron Nelson, the BMW, and the Procore, for 6 total wins on the PGA Tour this year. So who really is, and who is the most deserving of this award? Well, if you remember last year, this debate was Scottie versus Xander Schauffele. Now, Xander, very similar position to where Scottie is right now, had 2 major titles. He had won the PGA, and I believe it was the US Open or the Open, was one of the two, and had multiple other wins on tour. But Scottie's resume was a lot more over-encompassing. The PGA Tour Player of the Year award is a very clear-cut and obvious answer. But I think we need to dig a little bit deeper and to understand who truly is the Player of the Year. Like I had said, Scottie's resume is quite massive. It's quite illustrious, and it has been for years, right? The number 1 player in the world, maintained that status throughout the entirety of the year, won 2 more majors to add on to an already impressive legacy at only the age of 29, won a major, essentially a 5th major sort of vibe event at the Memorial at Jack's Place, won a playoff event at the BMW, won the Procore prior to the Ryder Cup run, won the Byron Nelson, one of his hometown tournaments. Of course, he played in the Ryder Cup. He logged 3 points for Team USA. He had a pretty good year in that regard. Of course, didn't get some hardware. But now you compare that to Rory McIlroy, who maybe you could argue had the greatest season of his entire career. And this is counting countless majors, players' championships, other years where he's won the race to Dubai as well. But between completing the Grand Slam at Augusta, that's just the number one apex, or one of 6 guys to ever do it. He won the Players for an umpteenth year. Again, the 5th major, the one event that is for the players, by the players. You want to win the Players in your resume. And he did it for a multitude of times. Went out and won the Irish Open in a home event, essentially. Everybody was rooting for Rory in Ireland, wanted to get the win. Rory gets it. Won at Pebble Beach, another signature event on the PGA Tour. While not necessarily the gold standard of tournaments, it used to be a long time ago. It's kind of fallen off a little bit, but still an important tournament to win, and valid for the money that comes in and the points that you get and the exposure as well with it. Like I had mentioned, won a 7th race to Dubai title. That's 2nd all-time now on the all-time list, and probably the most important achievement that he had the entire year. And this might be more important than the Grand Slam title for Rory. He said it after he had won at Marco Simone in Rome. He wanted to win a away Ryder Cup. He banged the table. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. And I understand the Europeans have this huge nationalistic pride, and they thrive for Ryder Cups. We've mentioned it in the show in the past. Looking at guys like Luke Donald and Seve Ballesteros, they're national icons because they were incredible in Ryder Cups. Not because they won a whole lot of majors. I mean, Seve is obviously a lot more decorated, but you become an icon in European golf for more than just major titles. It's very different than what you do in America. And while it's incredibly important that he won the Grand Slam title, and it is a huge achievement, maybe the biggest one, and I don't want to say a harder one, but how many away Ryder Cups have ever really been won? Maybe, I think the number is less than 7, maybe 6. It doesn't happen very often. Now happens a lot more often with the Europeans coming to America and doing it. But regardless, he made a proclamation 2 years prior, and he followed up on it, and he did it. If you look at the PGA Tour Player of the Year, I think it's very obvious. It's Scottie Scheffler. The body of work is just what he did in the 48 PGA Tour events within the calendar season happening in America. 6 wins to Rory's 1, 2, 3 in the States. Of course, the Irish Open is a co-sanctioned event, so I can't decline that. But 6 wins to 4 wins, the wins log out. The Ryder Cup gets a little bit discounted. The race to Dubai gets discounted. But again, the Player of the Year award will go and should go to Rory McIlroy. Now, this is 2 very, very distinct awards. The award that's given out in this case is the PGA Tour Player of the Year award. And again, the debate last year was Xander Schauffele won 2 majors, and he lost to Scottie, who again had another 6-7 win season, despite only winning 1 major. So if the award goes just on PGA Tour accolades, I think it's Scottie. If the award goes to the overall body of work, because the golf is an international game, there are multiple different tours. You go to Asia, you go to Europe, you go to America. He conquered every single continent. And it's not even close. He did what most people could do or wish to do in a lifetime. Most guys teeing it up this weekend at the RSM haven't even won six tour events in a year. They've never even come close to a Race to Dubai title on the DP World Tour. They've never even sniffed a major championship or the possibility of A, playing a Ryder Cup, and B, winning one, and C, winning on the road. So therefore, I think it is absolutely apparent Rory McIlroy is my Player of the Year. If Scottie were to get it, again, it's because of that PGA Tour moniker. Let me know what you think in our comments here. I'm curious to know what your opinion is. This will be debated for the next few weeks as both players have officially wrapped up their 2025 season. I want Rory. We'll see what the folks say. And we're also going to talk a little more about why this is an interesting debate in a little bit on the other side of the show. I want to get into point number 2 here. Laurie Canter, probably the craziest story and the name that I would have not expected whatsoever to have made it a headline on this show. But Laurie Canter did something that I didn't really think would happen this quickly. He's the first LIV golfer to earn PGA Tour status once again. And the interesting thing about all of this is that he did it totally legit. Now, of course, how can you not do it legit? I understand that. But it's the way that he went about his LIV career. I mean, the guy made over $10 million on LIV Golf. It's more money than he's ever seen in his entire PGA Tour or DP World Tour career. But the story of how he got here makes it that much more surprising. And also, I find it interesting because of the challenge that it has been, or it has been made for players on LIV to try and get back to the PGA Tour. We've seen guys in the past try and Monday qualify for events. That's happened before. There are guys from LIV Golf currently on the Corn Ferry Tour trying to work their way back to the pro ranks. Laurie Canter found himself in a very interesting situation. Now, the Englishman, dating back to 2023, he played in 20 events with Ian Poulter's Majestics. He eventually got booted off of the LIV Golf Tour in favor of a higher brand name persona. That would be former PGA Tour stud Anthony Kim, which, of course, we know how that turned out. He had conditional status on the DP World Tour. He ended up gaining full-time status after winning the European Championship, which leads us now into 2025. No longer on LIV Golf, playing full-time on the DP World Tour. He made 22 starts. He made every single cut. He won the Bahrain Championship, and he logged 5 additional top 10s. He then goes to the Race to Dubai. He finishes 7th in the overall rankings and finishes 3rd at the Race to Dubai final, only being edged out by Matt Fitzpatrick. He becomes one of the 10 players not already exempt to earn PGA Tour status through the DP World Tour's Race to Dubai. And again, what's surprising about this is, maybe it's for shortened period of time because he only played for a year and a half or so on LIV Golf. Some guys are in too deep, but I didn't expect Laurie Canter to be the guy to be able to do this. I would have expected a bigger name who maybe would have been more interested in doing it. But again, there's the safeguards that were taken to limit LIV golfers. A lot of guys were banned from the DP World Tour. A lot of guys weren't allowed to play on the PGA Tour or DP World Tour, and they had to fight on the International Series. Laurie Canter had a very interesting opportunity as he joined LIV as it was already kind of making its rounds. It was 3 years old. Guys were a little bit less weary to completely get rid of them on tour. I mean, the DP World Tour also didn't levy huge sanctions against those guys on LIV Golf. So really, they could have gone back and they could have fought for conditional status, and they could have been in this very hole. But Laurie Canter got lucky, and ending up in the drop zone, being booted from the tour, and now managed with a big win in 2024 to come back to 25 as a full-fledged member of the DP World Tour. And now we're going to see it soon with Henrik Stenson doing the exact same thing. He's going to opt now for the DP World Tour instead of LIV Golf, as he's been dropped by LIV. And now a new player from the DP World Tour ranks is now joining LIV Golf. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But I find it fascinating that Laurie Canter becomes the guy to be able to do it. And good on him, because it's fascinating from a storyline standpoint, but it's also even more interesting from a process standpoint, how we were able to get to this point and how somebody like Laurie Canter is able to go through the motions, fight the battles, but still manage to come out stronger at the end of the day. And in his interview afterwards, when he gained status, he was very grateful for the opportunity to play on LIV Golf. But he learned and he realized he wants to be playing with the big boys again. He wants to be fighting for those big time titles on the DP World Tour, the PGA Tour, and of course the major championships. And while there might be a route now for guys on LIV Golf as they expand to 72 holes starting next year to do that, if they can get OWGR points and other groups like the RNA and Augusta and the PGA of America and the USGA have now made safeguards to allow LIV golfers to qualify for majors. Laurie Canter is now going to get a full crack at the PGA Tour full time once again and be able to do it on a 48-week schedule, much like the rest of the guys trying to fight it out in the States. And whether or not he is doing it for the desire to play on the PGA Tour or to spike the LIV Golf Tour, that's to be seen. But it's great that Laurie Canter is able to finally get back to where he is and be able to make a name for himself once again back on the tour after a brief hiatus away at LIV Golf. My final take here in the first half, I want to chat quickly. The last week or 2 weeks ago was the debut of Kai Trump, of course, Donald Trump's granddaughter, made her debut on the LPGA Tour at the Annika. I found this story really interesting, and I was scrolling through Twitter as I was sitting on my couch on a Saturday, And there was a lot of backlash for why is she playing in this event? Why she's an 18-year-old. She's too young. She's not even in college yet. Well, first of all, why are we even having this debate? Because quite frankly, she's good enough to play golf. And we've seen this happen in the past with athletes like Lexi Thompson and Michelle Wee and Rose Zhang and Megan Gane, who, whether or not they're in college now, they're now pros. They all played golf on the LPGA Tour at 15, 16, 17 years old, and they were all good enough to do it. She's going to play college golf at Miami. This isn't a vanity selection for a sponsor exemption. And there's actually a great tweet that I saw that I'll pull up quickly. Where are we? From Brian Manzella, who was one of the top teachers in the world of golf. He said, quote, "If I put up a couple of million to sponsor a tour event, I want to be able to give my 2 exemptions to whomever I please. Kai Trump shot rounds of 83 and 75 this week on a sponsor exemption in an LPGA Tour event. The 75 included 4 birdies. Tony Romo got sponsor exemptions for the following: the Punta Cana Resort and Club Championship in 2018 and 19, the AT&T Byron Nelson in 2019, and the 2019 Safeway Open. He also got sponsor exemptions at the Veritex Bank Championship in 2021 at the Corn Ferry Tour, and his average score in all those events was a 77.7. Mark Rippon got sponsor exemptions for the following events: the Kemper Open in 1992, where he shot an 80 and 91, and the Tri-Cities Open in 2000. Also, former tennis star Marty Fish played on a sponsor exemption on the PGA Tour's 3M Open. Former MLB pitcher and 3-time American Century winner Mark Mulder played in the 2018 Safeway Open. 2-time NBA MVP Steph Curry has played twice on the Corn Ferry Tour's Ellie Mae Classic. John Smoltz received 3 Champions Tour exemptions and 1 Corn Ferry Tour exemption as well. And I think he's absolutely right. Why are we debating an 18-year-old golfer when, A, there have been younger athletes who have honestly had higher overall interest or intrigue, or even lower for that matter, getting sponsor exemptions to go play in events? She's as good of a golfer as most 18-year-olds. She's going to play college golf at the University of Miami. She has the skill set to be able to do something that less than 1% of the world can do. Do you realize how hard it is to be a college athlete, particularly in golf? The prospects are so low. And whether or not she fizzles out in college is to be seen. But as it stands right now, she is a high school senior who's committed to go and play at one of the top colleges in the country and has a desire to one day be on the LPGA Tour. I don't think this at all has anything to do with politics, has nothing to do with her grandfather, has nothing to do with anything outside of the frame that she is a good golfer and is qualified to play in an LPGA Tour event. Might I add, she also shot a 75. Pretty damn impressive. I can't break 90. Sorry, yeah, 75. 83, 75. Two scores I've never shot in my entire life. And she's 10 years younger than me. Whether or not you agree with it is to be seen, but do not include her in conversations about anything political when she is more than legitimately good enough to play in an event like this. If you want to debate Lexi Thompson playing in a PGA Tour event or Michelle Wee doing the same thing, sure. You can debate that all you want. There were 25 other guys at last year's Shriners Championship who could have played, and they chose Lexi Thompson to play in that event. And has nothing to do with sexism. Has to do with the idea that a woman on a pro tour took a spot away from a guy who's been grinding for however many years to try and make the tour and can't do it because somebody who already has millions of dollars is getting a place in line. That's a debate that we can actually have. But we shouldn't be debating a young girl who's trying to get on the LPGA Tour and very well could have, had she won, just like Nick Dunlap did when he Monday qualified for the Amex, have a full-time career at 18, 19 years old. So there you go. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to get to our clubhouse chatter. We're going to talk all of the things that I heard, liked, saw, and beyond this week in the world of golf. It's the final week of the FedEx Fall Championship. We'll break down the RSM Classic field, give you our beer money picks, and let you know who has a shot or who's on the outside looking in at their PGA Tour status being up in limbo starting in January. Once again, I'm Stephen McAvoy right here for Get in the Hole. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Subscribe to Get in the Hole Pod.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by our amazing merch partners, PHI Apparel Company. With their unique designs for all, there's no doubt in our minds you will stand out in the crowd. Rep your favorite golf podcast and get your official Get in the Hole shirts and hoodies at phiapparel.co. When you check out, use code UNDERGROUND to get 10% off your entire order. Again, that's code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order at phiapparel.co. Stand out in the crowd, on the course, at the 19th hole, or quite frankly, anywhere with the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, back into Get in the Hole. Stephen McAvoy here. We are on to the B block, and we begin with our clubhouse chatter presented by Acorn Hills, our go-to apparel brand, putting an eco-friendly spin on styles that you'll love. With plantable clothing tags, you'll be sure to look your best in the blistering sun or in that chilly fall weather. Head to acornhillsco.com. Check out their Founders Club, a quarterly subscription where you'll get handpicked and exclusive styles you cannot find anywhere else, on sale now through Black Friday with up to $45 in savings. Once again, head to acornhillsco.com and use code GITH15, that's Get in the Hole 15, to earn 15% off your next order at acornhillsco.com. Acorn Hills, look your best from the ground up. We begin with what I liked this week in the clubhouse. And I got to give credit to the LPGA's awards system. Now, the LPGA awards were announced, I believe, last night, or it could be tonight as we record here on a Tuesday. I want to make sure that I'm accurate on this. So the Rolex Awards are announced. Yeah, it'll be tonight. So as we're recording, we're actively engaged in who will be announced as the winners here. And I saw a great story about how the difference between the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour operates. Now, the PGA Tour, of course, as we debated earlier with the Rory and Scottie debate, it's voted on by the players. The players determine who is their player of the year. But on the LPGA Tour, it actually is earned on a points basis. So you earn it based on wins, on top 10 finishes. You earn based on other accolades, scoring average, and so on, and also the kind of events that you win. So as of right now, the Rolex player of the year, who last year won the Nelly Korda after a blistering 2024 season, is currently supposed to go to tie and world number one Gino Titicul. She had 2 wins this year. She's one of only 2 players to have had multiple wins on the season. She also had 13 top 10. She accrued 169 points, beating out the next highest by over 16 points. I can't even do math. In second place, right behind Titicul, is actually the LPGA Rookie of the Year as of right now. That's Miyu Yamashita. She's the other golfer to have only won, the only one of 2 to have won multiple times this year. She had 12 top 10s in her rookie season. She finished only 16 points behind Gino, and then Minjee Lee rounds out the top 3. I love this system, and I've been saying this for a long time about a lot of different sports. I've been a huge proponent, particularly in baseball, for the All-Star game. I hate fan votes because you have years where one team just dominates the polls and they get a bunch of guys starting. I think we should do it based on fantasy points. So in a standard league, right, however you value all these point totals in baseball, single is 1, double is 2, triple is 3, home runs 4, total bases, walk, strikeouts is -1, so on and so forth. I think the highest point totals for every single player should be averaged, and those players start. If you lead in certain categories, then you get certain preferential treatment. You get point totals accrued to you, and that's how they determine the All-Star game roster and the starters. I love how the LPGA does this because it takes away the subjectivity in it, right? Mostly last year, I don't think the debate as much this year on the PGA Tour side, but Xander losing to Scottie after having a breakout year with 2 majors, I think is kind of crazy, considering we take majors and put them on a higher pedestal. And when you have a breakout year with 4 wins, 2 of them being majors, you kind of have to look at that, and particularly saying it's a PGA Tour Player of the Year award. That's, I think, the most important part here. Scottie winning the Olympics is besides that. So I like how the LPGA does this, and I think it's a really interesting way of going about it. I appreciate the fact that they do this, and it really does make it that much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like obvious, but set in stone who is the absolute best player, because they hit the metrics in every single facet to earn the Player of the Year award, to earn the Rookie of the Year award, to have the lowest scoring average. Like those awards, like for lowest scoring average, is literally based on a number. Why can't we base everything on a number and a crew to make you and crown you the champion? It's the same thing that we do in the season-long race, or we used to do for the FedEx Cup prior to them changing over the rules. It's how they rate guys to get auto-qualified for the Ryder Cup. And everywhere we go, we use quantified numbers to deem people eligible for something. Why can't the PGA Tour do the same thing? I love what the LPGA does. So that's what I love this week in the world of golf. What I didn't like, and I'm going full 180 on what I said in the show a couple weeks ago, I actually thought the Internet Invitational was actually pretty good. And not for the reasons that you think. I do think the content was way too long. I did not sit there and watch all 24, 40 hours, whatever it is, of content. But from the clips that I did watch, it actually was an incredibly compelling and interesting story. And it's not because any great golf was played. There was some good golf, don't get me wrong. But Barstool managed to make a reality show with golf as the background. And I think that's the biggest win here. Is when Full Swing debuted on Netflix, everybody was like, wow, we're getting the inside look, the background look on some of our favorite players. Joel Damon became a household legend. Everyone appreciated Justin Thomas. We realized that Brooks Koepka really hated his career on LIV Golf and he was struggling mentally. Justin Rose last season, there's storylines that get built up around all of these guys. And the Internet Invitational, brought together 40 of the best personalities, whether they're good at golf or not, is to be seen, mostly good at golf, into one place and to play a golf tournament. We have plenty of drama. Luke Kwan sleeping through his alarm. We have drama from Belosi apparently turning his slope on. Paige Spiranac was cheating, allegedly. And that's what I didn't like. The fact that there was so much drama, when the reason why I like golf is because I like the compellingness of the sport. I don't love the soapbox drama on a golf course. And maybe it's probably a cold take. It's probably a boring take, right? Because people love drama. But as somebody who already doesn't watch YouTube golf, I'm not as compelled to watch something that's less about golf and more about a dramatic reality show. I never liked reality shows either. And again, maybe I'm in the minority. I probably am. So feel free to bash me on this. But the reality is, I thought the content was good. I thought the event itself was decent. The product was just too long for me. And I thought the drama could have very well gone to the wayside. And had we seen a legitimate product where no one cheated, I think we actually could have had a really, really, really interesting tournament. And I would love to see the PGA Tour now try and do this. They won't be able to because of just how the tour acts. But Barstool managed to do something that the tour was never truly able to grasp. And I hope this happens again and it becomes more of a legitimate product for years to come. And we have more events like this and we expand the scope, have a larger scale tournament. I mean, Barstool already has the Barstool Classic, which I believe is actually wrapping up this week too. So would love to see more stuff like this without the drama. That's just my opinion. I heard this week the breaking news that everyone was waiting for. Everyone thought Minwoo Lee was going to go to LIV Golf. Everyone thought Hideki Matsuyama or Tony Finau or one of the other big names who's been tied to the tour was going to leave for LIV Golf. No. Victor Perez joining the cliques, who, by the way, maybe now have the best roster since the inception of the clique name, which is still a terrible branding team name. Adrian Moronk, Richard Bland, Victor Perez, and Martin Kaymer. There you go. It's a pretty good team, actually. And Victor Perez is a very, very talented player. Oddly enough, was supposed to play this week in the RSM and actually now had to withdraw. Why he joined? I don't know. He was certainly grinding out with everybody else on the fall series. He's played the last few weeks. I'm actually curious where he is in the standings. He's currently 108th. So maybe he thought, hey, I might not earn my tour status this week if I play. Might as well guarantee something with the money. Very well could have happened. And who knows? Maybe that means that other guys who are currently on the outside looking in might consider a move to the LIV Golf Tour. Granted, there aren't many names that have a lot of interesting flair to them. But much like Victor Perez, there are guys out there who might consider making a move. Who knows? Maybe Joel Damon goes. Maybe Harry Higgs goes. Maybe somebody like Taylor Montgomery, who struggled mightily. Adam Hadwin might jump. Cameron Champ, who hits the ball a country freaking mile. There's a lot of interesting names who could see a jump if their week this week doesn't go up to plan. But I'll tell you this much. One guy who is not going to LIV Golf, Rasmus Nergaard Peterson, who also may have one of the longest names on the now PGA Tour, did the unthinkable in order to get his PGA Tour status returned to him. Let me walk you through this quickly. The back nine at the race to Dubai. On 11, he made a 26.5-foot putt for birdie. On the 13th, he made a 7-footer to save par. On the 14th, he made a 44-foot putt for eagle. On 15, he made a 9-footer for birdie. 16, he 2-putted from 48 feet. 17, he made a 4.5-foot putt for bird. And on 18, he made a second shot to 18 feet from 250 yards and 2-putted for the birdie on a par 5. He earns his PGA Tour card after an unthinkable back nine. I saw him go birdie, par, that had him go birdie, par, eagle, birdie, par, birdie, birdie in the last few holes. That's amazing. So good on Rasmus Nergaard Peterson for making it into the top 10 without not already exempt to earn PGA Tour status. He's going to be a really interesting player on tour this year. He certainly has the skill set to perform at a very high level. And it's actually a shame that the DP World Tour is going to lose somebody as good as he is. He's currently the 78th ranked player in the world. He's the 44th ranked player in the world according to Data Golf. He's only 26 years old. He's actually played really well on the DP World Tour this year. Going back to August, he has 7 top 25s in 10 events. Has played really good golf. Hasn't logged a win on the DP World Tour this year. He won 3 times on the Challengers Tour in 2024 and has now made it here, but 14 top 20s, 5 top 5s, and 26 starts. If you go all the way back to earlier this year, he finished second at the Puerto Rico Open. He finished 12th at the U.S. Open. So he's had PGA Tour success as well. He's going to be a really interesting name to keep your eyes on going forward into the PGA Tour calendar. I think he's going to be a very fascinating player to look at. We had some big moves being made following the Butterfield Bermuda last week. And then now this week heading to the RSM. 3 big names. Adam Schenk, who won last week at the Butterfield. He moves up from 134th position to 67th. Chandler Phillips finished second, moves from 139th to 92nd. And Takumi Kanaya, who finished third, moves from 120th to 99th, right on the bubble in the top 100. 3 guys moved out. Max Homa, who did not play, went from 96th to 101st. Matt Wallace and Bo Hossler both missed the cut. Moved from 97th and 98th, respectively, to 102nd and 103rd. Again, this is the final event of the fall calendar this week at the RSM. Well, let's look at some of the names who are going to be on the outside looking in or on the inside looking out. Of course, Adam Schenk moving all the way up to 67th. He will get full-time status, and a good week this week could push him in to the top 60 as both Jake Knapp and Kevin Yu are out. They're currently 59th and 60th in the rankings. If either one of them fall out, there's an opportunity for a guy like Wyndham Clark, who also isn't playing, but Nico Echeverria, Joe Highsmith, Steven Yeager, Adam Schenk, Emiliano Grillo, Mac Hughes to jump into the top 60, which would then get them qualified for the Genesis and the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Michael Torbjornsen is also there at 72nd. Christian Bezadenhout at 75th. Sammy Valimaki 74. And a few other guys all in that like 70s range, all looking for a really strong week. A lot of guys currently on the bubble. Carl Phillips sits flat at 100th. Bo Hostler at 103rd, as I mentioned earlier. Adam Scott currently 107th. Victor Perez no longer on the tour. Pearson Cootie's currently 110th. Billy Horschel 112th. Matt Kuchar 113. Taylor Moore 115. Joel Damon's 117th. Andrew Putnam 119. Doug Gim currently 125. Those are the guys on the bubble, but could earn conditional status. On the true outside looking in, guys like Harry Higgs, Hayden Springer, Seamus Power, Carson Young, Adam Hadwin, Henrik Norlander, Ben Silverman, Grayson Sigg, Cameron Champ, Ben Coles, Camilo Villegas, Charlie Hoffman, Nicholas Norgard, Thurston Lawrence. A lot of guys on the outside looking in, needing a strong week this week at the RSM. With that being said, let's get right into our beer money picks presented by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Everyone needs that one great beer for any occasion, right? Well, Kenny has you covered with a crisp, cool, refreshing lager that is just as original as the desire to put a modern twist on the OG itself. Be sure to check out kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Tracker to hashtag grab a Kenny with us at your local stores in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and beyond. Stock up for the Thanksgiving season, and also you can make it a gift for a loved one or somebody like me who loves beer. If you want to deliver me some Kenwood beer, please do, because it's not available yet in New York. Guys, and particularly for you out there, dear listener and dear viewer, give me some beer. I would appreciate it this Christmas. Thanks. We go to a top 20 pick at the Kenwood. Oh, at the Kenwood. Oh, imagine that, God. At the RSM Classic, the final event of the PGA Tour calendar. And I want to start off with, I'm surprised by the fact that actually, hold on. Let me do this first. Quick rundown of the RSM. 3 things I'm looking for in all of my picks this week. It truly is a great second shot golf course. You need to be able to avoid the penalties on the first shot, but that second shot, the small greens, is going to be incredibly crucial. You need great wedge game this week. Your play around the green is going to be absolutely vital for success. And of course, consistency in the putting is going to be a huge factor as you play this week, the RSM at Sea Island down in the Carolinas. Sorry, Georgia. My bad. God. Who's in? Who's out? Jake Knapp is out, and Chaz Reavy gets in. Kevin Yu is out for sponsor exemption. George McNeil. Matt McCarty is also out, and Dylan Fratelli joins in with him. Our Monday qualifiers this week are Kyle Cottom, Peter Nade, Matt Akins, and Ryan Blair. So once again, we get to a top 20 pick, and I'm going to go with somebody who's currently at plus 240, and I'm shocked that he is, because he had such a great season last year, only to now come into this week and for some reason be so far down on the leaderboard. I'm kind of shocked by this. Now, granted, we haven't seen him play since the Tour Championship, but I think this is a great week for him as he fits the mold perfectly from a approach game and a putting standpoint. I'm going to go with Andrew Novak at plus 240. Definitely a horse for course. Doesn't have a ton of metrics here at the RSM, but I think that the wedge game and the approach game is going to be really good for Andrew Novak, friend of the program. Love you, Andrew. Top 10 for me, I had to go with the best putter on earth. Whether or not he's going to play great with his wedge game or his approach play, which, by the way, has gotten really good in the last year and a half. Denny McCarthy at plus 300 is an absolute joke for a top 10. This guy should be way, way, way better on the odds board. I love him at plus 300. That's a great play for me. Top 5, the longest shot that I have had on this show probably all year. I'm going to go with Jacob Bridgman at plus 900. 9-1. You can get Jacob Bridgman, who statistically is one of the best approach game players from inside 100 yards on tour and has been a really good putter as of late as well. I mean, we saw him live at the Truist back in May. He was arguably one of the best players in the field the first 3 days of the tournament, and then everybody sort of caught up to him. I think this is a great spot for Bridgman at plus 900 to crack a top 5, possibly get a win, move all the way up the standings, and qualify for some big tournaments come 2026. I love that pick. Let's go with a gimme, and I've been riding him for the entirety of the fall series. And to a degree, he's kind of let me down, and I'm a little bit upset by this, but I need to go back to the well just one more time in the hope that the current top 75 player in the world gets me something big. He finished 3rd at the Bay Current. I think he can get us a big win this week because the guy hits the ball so freaking far. He's been a really solid, above average putter. The around the green is a little bit interesting, but the approach play has been phenomenal as of late. I'm going with Michael Thorbjornsen for a top 10 finish at plus 260. Our ladder parlay here, won it last week, feeling really good about it. Let's get another one here and with some long odds. My top 40 this week is going to be Doc Redman. He's plus 200. My top 30 is one of the most consistent approach players on tour in the last 5 years, Tom Hoge. He's plus 280. And my top 20 pick is Austin Eckroat at plus 350. Guys, this is a huge get-right bet if we can nail this. Plus 77.66. That's a $10 bet to net you $700. I love this play. Really interested. Redman 40, Hoagie 30, Eckroat 20. And finally, our winner at the RSM Classic. I am going with a tried and true fall champion who loves to play in events where the field could be a little bit weak, and his game is nothing but it. I'm going with JT Poston to win the RSM Classic and log a big victory heading in to the Century later on. Actually, no, yeah, wherever that will be. Later on in January. I love JT Poston here in this spot. That's going to do it all for me here. Short episode, but a lot of stuff we got through. A lot of really interesting topics. Let me know in the comments what I missed, what you want to hear on the next show. We've got a lot of things approaching the holiday season. After the RSM final event, when we have nothing going on until the Hero World Challenge, you might not hear from me next week. If not, I will be back the week following, catching you up on all of the news in the golf world. That has been episode 228 of the Get in the Hole podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Steve McAvoy. I appreciate you tuning in, checking us out. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms at Get in the Hole Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and beyond. If you're already engaging with us, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and comment on all of our posts. The engagement helps with getting out to new listeners as well. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like I said, 5-star rating, and on YouTube at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Check them out. Type in Underground PHI. You will find us and all of our shows, from Get in the Hole here to our friends over at Underground Circuit, Get OTB, Top Bins, and beyond. Be sure to engage with them as well. Some of the best niche podcasts out there on the market. Once again, episode 228 of the Get in the Hole Pod. I'm Steve McAvoy. We'll see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving if I don't hear from you guys until a few weeks from now. Take it easy. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!